2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix.
As a child, this lullaby was catchy. It wasn't until I got older that I realized how creepy it really is. Freddy Krueger is a horrifying serial killer in nightmares, but the cold hard truth is serial killers exist among us, in our world, and quickly turn nightmares into reality. Fun fact, did you know that within your lifetime you can walk past at least 36 serial killers? The term serial killer was coined in 1970 by an FBI investigator named Robert Ressler. The literal term refers to someone who has killed 3 or more people. Now that's mind-boggling to the normal brain, which makes me wonder what the difference is between their brains. Serial killers are a fascinating category of people because their origins are unique. Their childhood usually plays a role in alternative brain development, such as behaviors, trauma, abuse, or PTSD. In the grotesque world of killing, serial killers often use signatures or trademarks which hold different meanings to society, to let society know that it was their work. Another interesting aspect around serial killing is the infamy some of them achieve. The celebrityism associated with names like Charles Manson and Ted Bundy is scary. How did they become household names? These evil people, unfortunately, are not just a figment of our minds like Freddy Krueger, but they exist and they're real. Let's dive into the mind state of one, which is created due to psychological events, their behaviors and trademarks which instill fear in societies, and the household name ones that have reached this status due to their horrendous acts of crime. First, let's dissect the question of whether or not serial killers are born to kill, or whether their brain transforms so much due to certain events that they actually become one. People aren't just born bloodthirsty. Psychology plays a massive role in the development of someone becoming a serial killer. According to Klaus and Lidberg, in the Journal of Forensic Psychiatry, they state, a child born without a primary caretaker may suffer lifelong feelings of being deprived of its own existence and suggests that this may result in the drive to regain lost power. Without the safety net of a normal childhood, the brain starts to develop drastically, especially in such a young mind. Sexual abuse, mental abuse, and physical abuse also play a huge role in the brain development. For example, a child that is constantly blamed for matters that are beyond his control will eventually lose the capacity to even feel guilt at all. Another sign in early childhood that many serial killers exhibited is the torture and mutilation of animals. Animal cruelty at such a young age shows the lack of empathy and absence of remorse. Sexually deviant serial killers are among the more deplorable, with acts unspeakable that a normal brain couldn't comprehend why one would do this to another. According to Professor Zelda Knight of Rhodes University, in her article, Some Thoughts of the Psychological Roots of the Behavior of Serial Killers as Narcissists, she states, sexually motivated serial killers humiliate and degrade their victims. They are manipulative. They are above average in intelligence. They take trophies. They do not often harm wives or girlfriends. They have a history of cruelty to animals. They enjoy torture and the pain of victims. And they tend to escalate levels of violence over time. Also, they tend to leave a signature at the crime scene. The ego of these maniacs are so grandiose that they want society to know it was them, so they leave trademarks or signatures at the crime scene just to gain that attention and to make sure that they still instill fear in society. Killers use horrible methods and leave specific clues or signs in order to let everybody know who the mastermind, for lack of a better word, is. Published in the Forensic Science International, Donald Parnish and David Lester created a chart study to analyze the most common signatures left at crime scenes between 27 prominent serial killers. According to them, the most common signatures are rape, dismemberment, burning, torture, biting, masturbation, foreign objects in genitals, foreign objects in mouths, blunt instrument strikes, or drugs and alcohol. Crime scenes can also reveal a lot about personality types and preferences. A serial killer's signature is like an imprint left behind, signing their work. It is beyond scary that people even think like this. These deprived killers want their credit so much that when they don't get it, they're willing the risk to get caught, just trying to prove that it was them. One example is Dennis Rader, who was also known as BTK, from Wichita, Kansas. Dennis Rader wanted all of his crimes linked together, and when he realized that the police were not putting the pieces together like that, he would call and send them items to the police station, ensuring them that it was actually his work. Ultimately, this need for credit was his demise, and when they traced a fingerprint back on one of the letters to him, it was over. It's scary to know that BTK is considered a household name in the world of serial killers. Lastly, serial killers have gained plenty of infamy for their terrible crimes, which have spawned a cult-like following almost in support of them. While many people are completely petrified by serial killers and their crimes, behaviors, all the above, people of all walks of life are still heavily fascinated with them. The interest peaks in their abnormal life, crazy upbringing, and impact that they had in the communities that they affected. Movies, TV shows, Hollywood, and the media in general are all enamored by serial killers. A few of them have become household names and forever have their bloody legacy etched in the history books. People like Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, and Richard Ramirez literally had flocks of people, mostly females, following their craze and supporting them in courtrooms. In conclusion, even though people remain to have an interest in serial killers, causing them to become famous, they will forever be remembered negatively in our history, and will still remain the stories of nightmares. Today we have learned that serial killers are not bred, but they are created due to the events that have transpired in their lives. They use signatures in order to gain attention or instill fear, and unfortunately have achieved celebrity status due to our fascination with them in the media. Like I stated before, while Freddy Krueger's horrifying image evokes fear, it's just a nightmare. Meanwhile, these evil-minded serial killers are as real as it gets.